What's going on, everybody who are big fans of the Game Riffers? This is Double RPG here, and we're here to present to you another stellar and astounding, excited episode of the Riff Table Arcade. And I said I'm Double RPG, and joining me we have 16-Bit Jeff.
16-Bit Jeff.
All right, and unfortunately, Jerry, our good buddy FighterXaos, was not able to join us for this episode this time around because he has other obligations to attend to. But we actually do have our good buddy The Shades from Reviewtopia, or is that what it is?
RVT. It's RVT Entertainment nowadays. We lost Reviewtopia years ago.
Okay, RVT Entertainment. He's come to actually take Jerry's spot for this episode. So yeah, he is our special guest for today. So how's it going, John?
Doing all right. Sorry, Cal, I'm taking you again.
It's not gonna
Love you, Cows.
So how's everybody doing today?
Well, I had a good day yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday, so it went well.
Well, happy birthday to you, buddy. Well, my day was kind of eventful too, because apparently, for me personally, out of all of us in the Riff Table Arcade, or the Game Riffers in general, I'm the only one who is a dedicated amiibo hunter, and you can understand that the most recent and exclusive amiibo that is going to be really rare to find was the Gold Mario amiibo, because of the Super Mario branding of the amiibos that recently launched with Mario Party 10. And I went to my Walmart about 2 or 3 times, and the first 2 times they actually had it, but they did not know where they were. And then I came over there after work yesterday, and they said that they were completely sold out. So my anger with Walmart has just risen up to an all-time high because of how incompetent they are with certain aspects of their company. But yeah, you can see my grievance and frustration with them when it comes to some of their business practices. But that's another can of worms I could talk about in another time. But as of now, I'm just doing all right as is. I've kind of calmed down, but I am actually doing a lot better. But I got the other 6.
Cool.
Better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah. So I pretty much have all the Smash amiibos that are available at the time being, and all the Super Mario franchise amiibos that are available, excluding Gold Mario. Which I heard there was actually a really good functionality for him in Mario Party 10 for that amiibo, in the amiibo party mode. Yeah. But I'm going to have to wait till Walmart says that they're getting in more shipments, because I'm not going to pay another scalper. That's just ridiculous.
Let me ask you this: Can you go? Have you tried going online and trying to see if you can do a ship to store kind of thing? Maybe you can get it through that.
Well, I can do something like a free pickup from store or something like that, but they said that they're not available right now, so I have to wait. So, but I did put in an email address, my email address, to get notified when they would be back in stock.
Yeah, because that's probably gonna be your best bet. Is as soon as they come available, just go for that. That'd probably be easier.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's on my end about what happened yesterday. So Jeff had a birthday. I've had really bad grievances with trying to get a smart toy, because I really do enjoy the whole amiibo thing. I think it's been really successful, but it's really shocking how it has attracted such a wide array of people, not only from where I live, but just around the whole country in general.
Well, I think it's not really stuff like Disney Infinity and Skylanders. It was like they figured out how to market this in a way that they knew everyone would want to play. So Nintendo saw the money and they went for it, like they always do. They saw where the money was going and they jumped on that shit before anyone else did. Now we wait for Sony and Microsoft to do the same thing. Watch. Calling it now.
Well, and I guarantee you Sony is probably going to jump on the bandwagon as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Microsoft did that. I wouldn't mind buying them.
Like I said, one, if not both of those companies, are going to do it eventually. I'm calling that shit now. Quote me on that.
Yeah. So, anything new in your neck of the woods, Jeff, besides your birthday? Been doing anything fun?
Not much, really. I mean, I got a couple of things for my birthday. Nothing eventful, but it was a nice day for what it was.
Okay.
I don't want to go into details, but yeah, something happened. I don't want to get into it, but besides that, my birthday was good. You know what I mean?
That's good. And John, anything exciting from your end since since the last time we talked to you? But I'm not sure if we ever had you as a special guest before, man. So
I think this is my first time on guys' show. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yay.
Yeah, we may have to get a little rundown with you about what you do on RVT Entertainment.
Yeah, basically I basically am an anime reviewer with my show Anime Takeover. What I'm bigger on is like promoting fan-based stuff, because I don't think fan-based stuff like fan art, fan fiction, and all that kind of stuff gets enough praise or love. So I like to promote that kind of stuff. But what I normally do nowadays is I do a lot of live streams. Another thing we've been promoting is Tokusatsu, Power Rangers type stuff.
Oh.
We have a Power Rangers podcast, Ranger Recap, which we actually just got some. I'm actually editing interviews with Power Rangers actors from our recent trip to Ranger Stop, a convention in Orlando. And also, we do Toku Riffs Live, where we basically take the newest episodes of like Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and some classic stuff, and basically do a riff track per week, which we're going to be actually getting back to this coming Sunday. I don't know when this episode's going up, but this Sunday we're going to be back finally. Thank God. I could be out of action for like months.
So you're pretty much going to be
computer issues.
You're pretty much going to be doing Mystery Science Theater 3000 or whatever on Power Rangers or whatever. I'm sure you have a lot.
That's the basic gist.
I'm pretty sure you would have a lot of fun and just a blast commentaries doing the re-release of the 1992 Power Rangers when it was brought into 2009 with it being digitally remastered with all those.
That just came out.
Yeah, with all those digital effects or whatever and the Batman sound effects.
Oh, you're talking
you
about the reissue, yes.
Yes.
The Disney remake, if you will. Yeah, we aren't touching that. If anything, we're going to be probably eventually riffing the original Sentai that came from it, Do Ranger, which came on DVD ago.
Oh, okay, cool. But speaking of which, are you looking forward to the new movie or no?
I'm interested to see where it's going. I haven't seen enough details on it to find out to judge whether it's going to be good or bad. But hopefully they learned from that Power Rangers fan film and aren't going to go that route.
Yeah, even though I found it to be hypocritical on Saban's part to get it removed, but then allowing it to come back on. So.
Well, they just want to acknowledge that that's not an official Saban work. That isn't the real movie.
Well, I know that, but Super Sentai, it is still dark in its sense.
Yeah. There's a bridge between darkness and humor. You know what I mean? And that
actually, Super Sentai is just as lighthearted as Power Rangers is these days.
Yeah,
if you want dark for a kids show, go watch Kamen Rider. That shit can get dark.
I guess that's true.
It's true.
But please with the new movie, for the love of God, do not bring Jason David Frank into the mix.
Don't get me started. I could rant for a whole 10 minutes on that shit. Don't get me started.
Well, we can do that once we're done with the episode.
Bring me back my boy, Austin St. John.
Oh yeah, I met him at Ranger Stop. Cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I think he's getting back to film and TV.
Yeah, and he's doing some new movie. I forget the name of it offhand, but he's still got his Ranger fan. And then there's a new independent movie that another former Ranger actor, Michael Caban, is producing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's an independent movie with Power Ranger actors in it, and they got a ton, including Jason David Frank, unfortunately. But they make up for it because they got like half the cast of Time Force, which is the most awesome series.
Oh,
wow, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. If any of you are interested in the kind of stuff that he talked about, then you can definitely check his stuff out on RVT Entertainment. We'll definitely have a link in the description for that, too.
I would warn you right now, the site's kind of down right now, but I can point you to a couple places to go for it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that pretty much takes care of introductions there. So why don't we go ahead and talk about the news topic for today, or the topic that's in line today for Rift Table Arcade, shall we?
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. So if a lot of you who don't even know about this, news topic, there was a huge bombshell that just exploded on the internet. It was either back on Monday or, yeah, I think it was like late Monday and early Tuesday. Nintendo has announced that they're actually teaming up with a Japanese mobile giant to bring their IPs to smart devices. But they're basically doing a joint venture to where they can actually bring in a new service for their successor to Club Nintendo, but which can encapsulate smart devices, PCs, tablets, and even the 3DS, Wii U, and their new upcoming console, which we'll talk about. But they're also in the talks with DeNA to, which is the company name. It's actually spelled DeNA, you know, just to go by the, you know, the joke or whatever. But yeah, they're actually doing a joint capital and investment alliance to not only do you know, new things for the company going forward, but as well as bringing their IPs to not only smart devices, but for some of their newer gaming platforms that they have coming out in the future. So they did give off a press release with how they are going about doing this new thing with joining with DeNA on this particular subject. So let me go ahead and read it out first, and then we will give our own discussion about this whole thing. So anyway, this is the press release. Companies to develop new game apps featuring Nintendo IP for smart devices and a new multi-device membership service. And this was made on March 17th, 2015, so that was on St. Patrick's Day, and I'm pretty sure that we all wear green on that day. But anyway, Nintendo Company Limited and DeNA Company Limited today entered into a business and capital alliance to develop and operate new game apps for smart devices and build a new multi-device membership service to consumers worldwide. Leveraging the strength of Nintendo's intellectual property and game development skills in combination with DeNA's world-class expertise in mobile games, both companies will develop and operate new game apps based on Nintendo IP, including its iconic game characters for smart devices. The alliance is intended to complement Nintendo's dedicated video game systems business and extend Nintendo's reach into the vast market of smart devices or smart device users worldwide. Under the alliance, DeNA will also be able to strengthen its gaming business at a global scale by leveraging Nintendo's IP. To ensure the quality of game experience that consumers expect from this alliance of Nintendo and DeNA, only new original games optimized for smart device functionality will be created, rather than porting games created specifically for the Wii U home console or the Nintendo 3DS portable system. In order to create completely new game experiences for smart devices, all Nintendo IP will be eligible for development and exploration by the alliance. As these consumers enjoy the unique kind of gameplay found only with Nintendo, they will have the opportunity to explore even more premium experiences on Nintendo's dedicated video game platforms. Information on upcoming games and availability will be forthcoming. Nintendo and DeNA also plan to develop an online membership service that is accessible from smart devices, PC, and Nintendo systems, such as the Nintendo 3DS portable system and the Wii U home console. The membership service, which is targeted to launch in the fall of 2015, will be built on DeNA's extensive experience and capabilities in online membership services. As part of the long-term relationship and commitment by each company, Nintendo and DeNA will also agree to form a capital alliance. Under the Capital Alliance, Nintendo will acquire 15,081,000 of DeNA's treasury shares, which corresponds to 10.00% of its total outstanding stock, for a total of approximately 22 billion yen. DeNA will simultaneously acquire 1,759,400 of Nintendo's treasury shares, which corresponds to 1.24% of its outstanding stock, for a total of approximately 22 billion yen. The payment is due April 2nd, 2015. So, yeah, that there is the press release of what Nintendo and DeNA have cooking for the coming months. So, yeah, this is something that has really hit, you know, not only us as gamers, but gaming websites and investors worldwide. So, yeah, this looks like it's going to be something brand new that's going to help Nintendo move forward with not only expanding itself into a vast market that they have not even reached before, but set a new direction with their game development in terms of bringing their games to their own dedicated video game platforms. So, Jeff, why don't we go ahead and delve into your thoughts about this whole partnership that Nintendo and DeNA has going on for them. So what are your thoughts about this, buddy?
My thoughts is this is one of the best ideas Nintendo has made in a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought that, you know, them games, you know, the mobile business was a smart move, and it is. You know, I'm glad that they're not making cheap ports of the Wii U and the current Wii U and 3DS offerings.
Uh-huh.
And just slapping it on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they're making new games based on their already existing IPs. And it's not surprised that this is happening because, you know, we've seen this happen the last couple of years with the 3DS, like with that baseball game.
What that Sluggers or whatever it's called?
Rusty something.
Yeah,
Rusty's Sports. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that had the microtransactions in them, but they could be lowered if you actually managed to do a certain objectives. So at least it wasn't like they were ripping you off. They were actually giving you objectives of what you can do to actually get them for cheaper.
And see, that's the thing, like that I trust with Nintendo is that, like, just like how they're doing their DLC business.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that they're trying to make a proper business in regards to freemium games, and not to screw over their fans.
Right.
The sad thing with freemium, it's a great idea, but it's just there are a lot of companies that still don't know how to cater to it as an actual service. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, continue.
I was just gonna say, there's a lot of companies try to reach for whatever they can get the most money in a short-term investment because they know that freemium games on mobile devices never last long-term or rarely do. You know, rarely do. So they try to get as much money as they can early on, and then just let the game die and move on to the next project because now they have the funds to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But Nintendo, they don't have to do that, and they've already proven they don't have to do that. I think the only game that they released recently that kind of falls into that point is that Pokemon puzzle game they did.
Yeah.
Pokemon Shuffle, I think it's called.
Oh, yes.
That one was a bit of a mistake, and I'm pretty sure I haven't heard much return on that investment. So I'm pretty sure Nintendo's not going to make that mistake again.
No.
I think they're actually. I think with the upcoming Puzzles and Dragons, it's actually a better decision that they did. Because not only are they bringing that game to the 3DS, but they're actually bringing in a Super Mario Brothers edition of that game to the 3DS, and it's a dual pack game for $30. And Puzzles and Dragons is still a really big, huge deal when it comes to mobile games, especially in Japan.
Yeah, well, that's because they keep adding stuff to it, including like not only just new content in general, but like exclusive content. Like they've been adding licensed characters to it from like DBZ and other like a lot of different animes that have been around, a couple of video game characters and stuff like that. I think they've even added some. They added some DC characters too. They had some like Batman and Joker and Superman and a couple other DC characters in there as well. So they've got a very extensive brand. So it only made sense for Nintendo to try to swoop in on that before somebody else did.
But I'm not gonna lie, the one that I was really happy to hear, and I think we're going to get into this now, was the successor to Club Nintendo.
Yes, this new multi-device membership service. They still haven't given an official name for the service as of yet, but we do know that this new service is going to be encompassing not only their dedicated gaming hardware, but as well as for PC, smartphones, and tablets. They now consider PC smart devices as not. They don't consider them as separate mediums. They're now considered to be official amongst the Nintendo's new definition of the Nintendo platform. So
I got a good name.
What?
Nintendo Power.
Get the power, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would have been awesome. That would be awesome if that was.
If they did that, I guarantee you, every Nintendo fanboy would be wetting their pants.
But honestly, I I think this is actually, still another really good thing. I mean, it's a really good thing with what they're going for. I mean, if they're taking the same approach with what Sony and Microsoft is doing, especially when it comes to, like, you can use a, use a different medium to actually purchase your games online if you don't have your Wii U or your 3DS or your, other Nintendo system to actually purchase content, then you can use other forms to actually, make that transition towards that or whatever. So,
and that's the thing I'm happy most about, that because I know they've been wanting to change the infrastructure of Nintendo Network because of what they did, and which I do think was one of the many Achilles heels on the Wii U, having the ID actually connected to the system itself and not into the network itself.
Oh, of course.
I know from firsthand, but yeah, like, I'm glad that they are not only starting to restructure Nintendo Network for the next generation of platform for their devices, but also more importantly that they're actually finally getting dedicated servers courtesy of DeNA.
I think the other thing we have to take notice of is the fact that, like we said before, they're not just porting over their old games, but they're creating new IPs for the mobile platforms, and that's actually a step above what even Sony and Microsoft are really doing. They're not even doing stuff like that. They're just basically just creating, like, connections. Like Sony, you can access the PlayStation Network on your phone. That's about as much as you can get from them.
Yeah.
Microsoft, pretty much the same thing. I think the best they've got is they can connect with the Surface thing or whatever they've got.
With smart glass and that, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's all they've got. But Nintendo is going to say, no, we're not just going to do that. We're going to let you have exclusive games for this. For my phone that I'm holding in my hand here.
And I could see this new for this new loyalty program, if they have something kind of in the lieu of, like, gold and platinum membership status, if they actually would give those types of members access to, say, like betas or even like exclusive demos that they only have access to, that they cannot even get it, that nobody can get access anywhere. Because I know that one of the things that they did was the Doc Lewis's Punch-Out or whatever, where it was just that little demo where you played as Little Mac and going up against Doc Lewis in that boxing match. Now imagine if they did something like that for, like, an exclusive little game or exclusive demo, but also getting access to, like, exclusive betas on some games. Well, not only just Nintendo games in general, but for games that are coming out for, either their devices or their upcoming successor hardware or whatever.
Or you can add, like, exclusive, like, DLC and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Maybe not too exclusive, but, like, especially for, like, the mobile devices, exclusive content for the mobile device games and stuff like that. That would be an incentive to get the subscription service, or to get that gold, platinum status, or whatever they decide to do.
Oh, of course.
Something that would encourage people to buy Nintendo products and thus increase their status and get access to that exclusive content. I mean, it's, in the long term, it's good for everybody, because I know there's a lot of Nintendo games out there that people would want to buy that much.
Oh, of course.
And then you add those exclusive content on there, it'll encourage them to use that service, which is how Nintendo lasted for so long.
And I wonder too if for this new loyalty program that they're going for, it kind of makes me wonder, since they're teaming up with DeNA, and since they got rid of the trademark for Virtual Console, whether or not if they're actually going to be doing a streaming service for their back catalog of games for their current hardware and their successor to the Wii U.
I think that's what they're doing, and you know what? I wouldn't mind either. Like if they do cross-platform in regards to Virtual Console through, not only their own devices from both home and portable, also through PC and mobile, that would be the best move. Because I can tell you one thing: if they made that as a service on PC, that would be one of the best decisions Nintendo has made. And I think that would be a really wise move. And also, here's an interesting thing too: if they're trying to looking for a platform, they can probably do either Origin, GOG, or even Valve. Or have it open to all three.
Possible.
That is possible.
Oh, put up the floodgates. Watch what happens.
I mean, if they did something like that, that would definitely give another layer of competition right there.
Oh yeah, it would.
And honestly, I think it would probably be for better too, because there's still plenty of games that were originally out on the older systems that still have not yet seen a proper release on the Virtual Console.
I know.
Like Donkey Kong 64, for instance. And even the developers and ex-developers from Rare still wonder why Nintendo has not put that game out. Yeah, but then again, we have not seen any N64 games on the Wii U. So, you know, for something like this, I think they could probably capitalize or try to alleviate that problem that they've had with trying to get some of their older games out on there into this new service, if they took that approach.
And they need to do something.
And even for, like, third parties as well. That way they can actually get their older content on there, too. Because there's still some games from them that we still have not seen yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of old games for the Virtual Console I would love to have seen on the Virtual Console. Like, hell, you know what? I'll throw a name out right now. Terra Enigma.
Yes.
That game has never been released stateside, and I would love to see Nintendo finally put that out there for it. And tell me Square Enix wouldn't want to make some money off that.
Not only that, but since they already have this ROM available and already done, Earthbound Zero.
Yes.
Oh, hell, Mother 3, anybody? You want to release? You want to finally quell the Mother 3 fans once and for all? You have the ability. You can release GBA games on the Wii U Virtual Console. All you have to do is contact the guys at Starman.net, get their translation patch, incorporate it into the game, and release it on the Virtual Console. I guarantee you'd make tons. And you can't tell me it wouldn't work, because Earthbound was a success.
Oh, yeah. Like 20 years ago, it was this time around when it debuted on Virtual Console. It was.
Yeah. So you could do it. And you wouldn't have to do much. It wouldn't cost you much money to do it.
No. And not only that, but get in contact with, like, some third-party games that actually have release games only in Japan, but actually bring them out, you know, to this new service. Like, some of the old, like, Squaresoft or Namco RPGs, like, I would love to see the original Star Ocean on there, you know, translated. Or even the original Tales of Phantasia, which was on the Super Famicom first. Because those two games were, like, the biggest games ever put out on the Super Famicom, because they managed to achieve the impossible with the Super Famicom, because most games that actually took advantage of the system had 32 megs of memory. But both those games, they were the only ones that I know that had a total of 48 megs of memory, literally making them the biggest games on there. So,
not only that, but if there's one thing I like to see in regards to Virtual Console, if it's becoming a business, well, yeah, a structure in regards to a service. Do like they did with the Wii and include former third-party, you know, their competition from the past. Like, expand more about that, because I would love to see some Saturn games up on Virtual Console.
Saturn, Dreamcast, Jaguar, even though that's probably not a highly possibility.
Hey, I would love to see a re-release on Alien vs. Predator on Virtual Console.
And Tempest 2000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I mean, that definitely leaves a lot of potential right there. But, you know, if something like that happens, then yeah, it would definitely, you know, not only do well for Nintendo, but it could actually bring them in a new source of revenue, so that way they can actually get more money if they actually took that approach.
Yeah, and the Sega consoles is very easy. I mean, they've got a very strong deal with Sega right now. How hard would it be?
I wonder how. I wonder about that myself, because look what happened with Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric on the Wii U.
Dude, you have to remind us.
Bear in mind, that wasn't all Sega's fault. I mean, they didn't help it, but they weren't all their fault. That was enough. They had a second-hand developer working on that, and that's where that got fucked up.
Actually, to be fair, it was not only Sega, but their in-house team known as Sonic Team that did the dev load to that game too. It was just a whole relationship, I think.
Yeah, that was just a clusterfuck, is what that was. So, but yeah, I don't think Sega's going to do that again.
Yeah, possibly not. But Anyway, but their relationship, we really don't know. I mean, I think they still have good relationships, but, you know, with third parties, but it's just at this time being, it seems like they're just getting on the short end of the stick when it comes to, like, getting content on their platforms at this moment in time. But, you know, for something like this, I think they could actually do a lot better. But, anyway, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's go back and talk about having a better online infrastructure and dedicated servers in the midst of this partnership, because this is something that, you know, people still wanted to see Nintendo actually do well in this day and age, is have better online infrastructure, even dedicated servers for some of their games that actually do have online, specifically like the Smash Brothers games, for instance. You know, if they had something like this would definitely, you know, make people kind of raise their heads toward them and say, you know, this is actually really good. I definitely see this being on par with not only PlayStation Network, but especially like Microsoft when it comes to their Xbox Live service, even though we do agree in this day and age that Xbox Live is the better dedicated server or whatever when it comes to gaming online for a console, right?
I would say that, but I can say PlayStation Network has gone better with the PlayStation 4, even with all those DDoS attacks. I can tell you one thing, the PS4 PlayStation Network is better than what I've seen with PlayStation 3. At its launch, I mean.
Let's roll.
But imagine this. If this actually does turn out to be a good thing and it actually gets a lot of praise from everybody, what if they actually did remakes of some of their games, and even bring about newer games from some of their older and dormant IPs and giving them online functionality permanently? Like for example, say that when the next new Super Mario Brothers game comes out for the next successor, imagine if that had online play on it. They would be making gangbusters. And same thing with Star Fox. If they had an online multiplayer mode, because when it came to Star Fox 64, people loved that aspect aside from just the single player campaign. You know, that 4-player multiplayer battle or whatever, where you can fly through a ship, or you can ride on the Landmaster, or where you can get out of the ship and actually shoot at ships or your, you know, opponents and that kind of stuff. Or imagine a new F-Zero game or an HD remake of GX that has online multiplayer in it. Or imagine like a new Four Swords game from The Legend of Zelda where it has online play, where anybody can play as a colored Link in an epic adventure. Or for Metroid, if they wanted to do a 2D one, kind of have it in the vein of Harmony of Despair or something. You know, the Castlevania game.
Yeah, that'd be tricky, but, you know, especially considering the last time that Metroid went online.
Which one was that? Was that Echoes?
Hunters.
Oh, Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. and that was
a lot of people like.
And that was a DS game too.
Yeah.
And honestly, a decent one, to be honest, because I remember playing that when it first came out, and I dug it. I didn't care about the single player content, but the multiplayer was there. I mean, for a DS game, it was really impressive, but it should have been a Wii title, to be honest.
Right. I mean, it's just this type of direction. If they took it, there's huge potential right there, especially with the partnership with DeNA that they're doing. And, you know, and some of their other games that they have in development that are about to release too, like Splatoon and Mario Maker, with Splatoon having, you know, being heavily centric on online play and Mario Maker being heavily centric on user-generated content, that's a step in the right direction that they should pursue more with experimenting some of their older IPs with in the coming years. That there would be a great way to help evolve their business structure too, instead of them just being stuck on the same shtick that we actually seen them for quite a while, that we actually want to see them do change on. I mean, Jeff, what do you think about this? I mean, doesn't not seem that too far-fetched for something like this to actually, you know, happen if Nintendo were to take this initiative?
No, because I do think this is going to be an inevitability for Nintendo, whether they like it or not, because we see Nintendo starting to change for the better since last year's E3. I mean, of all things I never imagined seeing Nintendo do is to have an exclusive be created by, of all people, Tobanota Itagaki, the creator of Dead or Alive and the revived series of Ninja Gaiden.
Right.
I mean, we saw from E3 last year that while I still didn't think it was a good idea to do a Nintendo Direct, for what they showed at last year's, I think back then they were starting to realize, oh wow, we royally screwed the pooch this generation. We need to do better.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I don't think it was the actual guys that run Nintendo. I'm talking about the shareholders getting their heads out of their butts and actually looking at the damage that they've done since the Wii era.
Lord knows that everything's gone to hell thanks to that.
Yeah.
And it shows too, because like Iwata recently stated that, you know, they lost their fans because while it's not a great first purchase, it could still be a good second console purchase in regards to the Wii U sales. I'm glad that Nintendo, while they're getting their teeth back, I'm glad they're becoming more humble, because I hate to say that, in some ways the Wii, and in some ways all three current consoles were at the start becoming, you know, naive like Sony was back in E3 2006. With the unveil of the PlayStation 3. Like this generation so far, it's not one console, it's been all three that were arrogant at the start of this generation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's why I got pissed when people were complaining about Microsoft. It's like, oh, they're the devil, they screwed up the Xbox One. It's not only Microsoft, it's all three.
Yeah.
All three of them did bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of which bullshit could you tolerate.
But I like that I see companies like Microsoft and especially Nintendo realizing, oh wow, we really screwed our friends. We need to do a complete 180 to please them, not to please the shareholders.
But was there something?
Meanwhile,
But was there something in relation to like better online infrastructure or dedicated servers that you wanted to see from them in lieu to this being a possibility?
Nintendo, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. Because if there's one thing I am not liking to hear from Splatoon, it has not been confirmed yet, but not hearing that there might not be voice chat.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense.
No, it doesn't.
No.
You have voice chat on the Wii U. Why would you not use it? You have a microphone built into the Wii U gamepad. Why the hell would you not use it?
I think I know why, and it pisses me off, because they don't want the squeakers, they don't want the racially injusted little kids that play COD that are going to play this game and bring this crap. I hate to tell you, Nintendo, it's going to happen inevitably. It's an inevitability waiting to happen.
Yes.
And you know how you can mitigate that? You can create a flagging system. If somebody is pulling that crap, flag them.
Like that's another thing that, thank you for bringing that up. We could finally have an actual mods for this new service.
Yeah.
Actually watching the service, not only with the network infrastructure, but one thing that needs to be less restrictive of, Miiverse. It's ridiculous when you hear someone like, say, like the head of, you know, PlayStation, he has a Wii U, he has an account, but if he types under something that he is the boss of PlayStation, he has to take it down? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's just like that. This is why I'm excited, because it feels like with this ideal that they are, you know, creating with the partnership with DeNA, it feels like they want to, I hate to say this, but they made a lot of errors with the Wii U like they did with the Wii, that I think they're looking at both consoles and saying, what are the things that we did horrendously wrong in both, but what are the things that we did right that we should continue to do? And I feel like that's what they're doing. They're making the mistakes that they did not only with this console, but the last console too. And it's a shame, because both consoles were good for their own for their own reasons. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
John, was there something you wanted to talk about in terms of, the possibility of having a better online infrastructure or dedicated servers in this regard to the partnership?
Yeah. Oh, you guys have covered pretty much most of your bases. Like I said, the one thing that would, ability to online voice chat would definitely be a huge improvement. That's something they need to cover is open up the floodgates to what online actually is nowadays, but yet do it in a way that's contained. Because, like we said, the biggest problem that Microsoft and Sony have is their online voice chat is so unrestricted that it's allowed this festering bile of online community to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go all day on that, but
we like to call them stream monsters. But continue.
Yes, thank you. But Nintendo, they like to have a nice tight grip on everything they handle. So, and I think that would actually work in their favor here, because having a grip on that would prevent those trolls from growing again.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I may not like that idea of Nintendo. But with that instance, I will make an exception, because right there, with them being family friendly and try to be tight knit, that makes sense right there, like you said, John.
Yeah. Harness that tightness, harness that grip they have.
Like that's
Use
why
it
I want
for good.
Exactly. Like that's why I want to see. I want to see the tightness in regards to that, and less of the restrictive BS they've been doing with the developers and publishers they have made, previous attempts with. And I feel like this is the first time, because I feel like that they realized that, yeah.
No. Let's be honest here, because Iwata has realized this, and he's like, "Fuck me, I gotta fix this." It's those shareholders we talked about earlier that are the problem. They need to get their heads out their ass.
It's not only that, but let's face facts. Iwata's been doing a good job, but he's still under a shadow that is of the late Yamauchi, who did a lot more damage for the company when he was still in charge.
Yeah.
That's the problem, too.
And Japan, as a culture, is known for being very strict on their ideals, very strict on, they don't change their ways much because they don't need to. So that's the problem we're having here. And it's only now that Nintendo as a company is starting to realize, okay, maybe we do kind of need to change this. There is a need for change.
And that is great, because I think you're going to bring this up too, John, and I'm sorry to cut you off. But with how you were saying, and I totally agree that Japan is so much of an insular culture that they just care about themselves and not the worldwide audience. If Nintendo starts to care more about the worldwide audience in regards to something like this, maybe other Japanese developers and publishers will take that to note and say, okay, we need to think more outside the box.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that Nintendo needs to do as a company, much less for the online infrastructure, is they need to open it up to everybody. The third-party developers is still their biggest hurdle they have yet to overcome.
Yes.
And even if they use some very innovative technology, all they have to do is let the third-party developers get their hands on it at the right time, and I guarantee you could see a whirlwind of possibilities open up.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because there was a rumor going around by Digital Foundry that they said that the last, at around June of 2013, after their E3 showing, that they were actually going to third-party publishers and developers, and before making a console, asking them, what would you like to see spec-wise? What would you like to see more of us do and less to do? They took inspiration from Sony, and that's never a bad idea. If you take inspiration from your competition, that's making your business better.
Learn from your competition, both the mistakes and the accomplishments. See what works, see what didn't, and see if you can improve upon that. Can you do better what they did, and can you avoid what mistakes they fucked up on? Any good business knows this.
Okay, let's shift gears from that topic and let's talk about some of the mobile. Even though we don't even know anything about mobile games, but their approach coming into mobile gaming with bringing about newer games to there. Even though they're still going to be making games for their dedicated gaming hardware, but let's just talk about some of the possibilities of what they could bring to the table when it comes to mobile gaming. Now, we do know for a fact that games that are on the Wii U and the 3DS or that are not, or that are coming to the mobile cannot be ported from one to the other. And older games that were on older systems cannot be ported onto smart devices either, unless if they decide to change that with, if there's a possibility, if they wanted to do something kind of in the lieu of like Steam or Good Old Games or Origin or something like that. But with games on smart devices, they could be either brand new experiences that take advantage of them in full force, but I could also see them working out as companion pieces to bigger games that are on Nintendo's dedicated gaming hardware. And I could actually see that working as not only as just individual solo games themselves, but as a marketing hook. Now imagine if the next 3D Mario game was another 3D collectathon, kind of like in the vein of 64, Sunshine, or the Galaxy games. Now imagine if they made a 2D collectathon game that's kind of in the vein of Super Mario 63 that's on Newgrounds.com. Have you guys ever had a chance to play that?
No, yeah, but I think I've seen it a little bit.
I think I'm the same way too. I've seen it, but never had a chance to play it.
Well, okay. It is a 2D game that's all sprite-based, but it's a collectathon that's in the vein of the 3D Mario games.
Oh.
So they are completely non-linear. You can explore them to your heart's content, and you can find the Power Stars or whatever, but they went by the Shine Sprites in that Flash game. And you can actually, you know, find them and complete mission-based objectives. Now, imagine if they did something like that for mobile, PC, and other smart devices for like a companion piece toward a bigger game that's on consoles. Imagine if they did that and say, hey, you completed our companion piece. Now, if you want an even bigger adventure or if you want more, then actually buy the main game, which we have centered this game around towards.
Mm-hmm.
That's a risky move.
It is.
That's a little bit of a risk.
It is a risky move, but you know, if they did something like this, and if they kind of made it successful, figuratively, then you know this could definitely see Nintendo actually getting more users to come to their dedicated gaming hardware. I'm just saying that as a speculation right there, if they took that approach.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah, if they did it right, I definitely see it being successful. They just have to be careful not to make it look like it's just a glorified advertisement.
Yeah.
And make it its own experience, but also throw in like, hey, you want to see more? You want to see something even bigger than this? Go check out this game. But still contain the main game, the mobile game, to be its own good experience. That way, it would encourage people to buy the bigger game.
Well, yeah, definitely. Because you know, if they did this type of marketing shtick in this day and age, then it would definitely be a step in the right direction to get them back on their feet with marketing their games, which they have been very, very abysmal with for like the last decade or so. Their advertising and marketing has just been utter garbage.
Actually, you know, one franchise that would hugely benefit from this mobile space, Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what they could do with Pokemon. To transfer your Pokemon to your mobile device and take it with you in its own adventure, or use it as like a storage thing where you could trade and maybe even battle with them in a new environment. You know, kind of like a Pokemon Stadium kind of thing, but on a mobile platform.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would open up the floodgates for for that kind of interactivity, and that's something you could easily get people to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine what they could do with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like if they had like what they do with like Street Pass. If they had the same game, they could then just face each other in a Pokemon battle or whatever, just based on their smart device.
Yeah, or even do it like, you know, have like a handful of Pokemon on your mobile device and have it do an auto thing, like, you know, an idle game kind of thing. But when you walk past somebody else who has it, well, I guess you'd have to do that with Street Pass, so it wouldn't work as well on a mobile phone. But maybe for newer devices that have like the NFC chip in them and stuff like that, you can initiate like an auto tag. It'd be tricky, but it could be done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
tap your guys' devices and your Pokemon automatically battle each other. And then if you win, you'll get like some extra prize money or like items that you could carry back into your main Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, it's just an idea. I mean, obviously you'd have to perfect that a little bit and tweak it, but I can see the potential.
Oh, definitely. Jeff, what do you think? Do you like some of these ideas, or do you have some ideas of your own that could actually work for this?
I think these are some good ideas. It's just since this is a very risky move, and I am all for risk, but at the same time they need to have they need to make these risky moves when they make sense. Like I feel like they should make these ideas work for the game if it's made that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I agree there.
Because if there's one thing, like say for example, if they did that, but the original intention, like say of that Pokemon game, if they did bring it to mobile, wasn't the original idea to begin with, and just was forced, that could hurt Nintendo's idea as a mobile developer.
Oh, I agree. They definitely have to be careful how they handle that.
Right. I agree too. I mean, and even the suggestion that I bring up, I don't want them to force that as just something that's there. I want that to actually make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it were any other company, I would not even consider the idea. But Nintendo's the one company that they take more calculated risks.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just go blind, willy-nilly, just like throwing a whole bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks. Mm-hmm. They tend to take more calculated risks. It doesn't always pay off still, Wii U being a prime example, but they still, more than often than not, come out successful enough to be able to keep going. Mm-hmm. And that's... a lot of companies can't say that. So if anyone could pull it off, it probably would be Nintendo.
Okay. Now, the type of games that they can work on for mobile devices could be either 2D, 2.5D, or 3D, but they could actually be newer games that you would never expect to see on their hardware. But say, for instance, what if they return to like the 2D sprite-based form of like a new Mario game or whatever? Or if they went back for that top-down perspective for a Legend of Zelda game that was in 2D and in sprites. And if they had like touchscreen functionalities to where they can actually just swipe at enemies or something, or press this button here or something, or like do something to where you can actually cast magic or whatever. But anyway, what were you gonna say?
Yes. On a mobile platform.
Sorry, it's just you cut out a little bit there.
Yeah. Skype's cutting you off too, like constant delays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I hope I'm not cutting you guys off either, but
dude,
it's just. Do we need the cameras on?
No.
Yeah, probably.
I just realized I had it on.
I'll go ahead and turn mine off.
That might save us some trouble.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Professionalism. We're swimming in it.
Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Our motto on our website is RVT Entertainment, never without a botch. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of huge potential, like from the other segments I talked about. But when it comes to the mobile games they create, who knows? I mean, they could turn out to be very different experiences than what we are normally accustomed to on dedicated gaming hardware. But what John said, that's actually a really good idea for Pokemon. And but for something else like a Zelda game, I think that could actually work out well too. But for others, who knows? But
also, we should probably consider the idea that maybe they shouldn't just go exclusively to just making stuff that's similar to their already existing IPs. Take the IPs and run with them in different directions. Puzzle games are very popular on mobile devices. Go that route.
Oh,
create a puzzle game based on an IP. I mean, a Mario-based puzzle game. Come on, who wouldn't want to see that?
No, it's funny you bring that up too, John, because if they want to, entice third parties again, here's the thing. Give some of their IPs to these third parties and have one of the big shots over Nintendo to be a consultant.
Yeah. Because Nintendo doesn't know jack shit about mobile device games. They're going to screw that up if they do everything themselves. They need some outside help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as much as I hate them, get King to help out. Or get, well, I wouldn't say Zinc anymore. They're dead. But or hell, you're already working with Gung Ho on Puzzles and Dragons. Work with them, have them help you develop some shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it probably...
you've got the connections, use them.
Of course. So, yeah, it would definitely be much better if they got help first, so that way they can gain experience. Because if they went fall flat on just doing this by themselves, then they're going to be in a lot of hurt. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the last thing that they've actually mentioned, is that, or what Iwata mentioned in lieu of all this, is that they are actually working on a new dedicated gaming platform that is the successor to the Wii U, but it looks like it's going to be the start of a new brand for Nintendo hardware. And they codenamed it the NX.
You know, a lot of people are bringing this up. It could be the initials as the name which can be Nintendo Cross. Because we've been hearing a lot of rumors that we could probably potentially see a hybrid between home and portable for Nintendo in the future. I can't say it'll be this. I don't think it's this generation, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the NX's successor that we do see something like that. But it is a possibility with the initials of NX for a code name like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would make sense. I mean, considering that they're already using Cross and other stuff. Mm-hmm. By the way, Jeff, you want to laugh?
What?
Hold up.
Remember the E3 story we always tell?
Mm-hmm.
I've just suffered a repeat.
Oh, God.
Oh.
My wife is sitting over here with the sketchbook of Doom, and she is not a happy camper.
Oh, no.
For those that don't know, there's an infamous story that at E3 I got so loud at one of the reveals that I woke my wife out of bed. Well, that just happened again.
Oh, no. Oh.
And she works overnights, so she needs all this.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So sorry.
And she can't hear you guys because I have headphones on.
Okay.
Oh, okie dokie.
But,
oh boy, here we go.
But,
Ow! Yeah, Kyle, there's a reason we call that the sketchbook of Doom. Ow!
So while John over here is looking at his wounds...
Yes.
Yeah, fuck you too.
But in all seriousness, like, I do feel like it is a home console because, granted, Nintendo did not say what the successor is. I do firmly believe it is a home console because, A, we heard first word of this from Miyamoto himself late last year. Around the same time as well, we heard confirmation from the CEO of AMD, the chip manufacturer that they get for their GPUs.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, like I stated earlier, that rumor from Digital Foundry, which is a part of Eurogamer, stating that, back in June 2013, that Nintendo, before making this, whatever NX is, that they were actually going after third parties, asking what they would like to see graphically and, just specifications in general for this console. Like, what things that they need to do as a company that would please them so they would start making stuff for them again. Because I can tell you one thing, if it's a portable, that would piss a lot of people off for those who just got the new Nintendo 3DS.
Oh, God,
and also
yes.
with the new Nintendo 3DS, it can't be a successor to that or the 3DS family because with the new Nintendo 3DS, there's going to be exclusive software
Yes.
for that platform.
Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you better believe if I have to, I will get a new 3DS just for that game. That game needs some love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely.
But that's what I'm getting at. It's just like it can't be a successor to the 3DS because unlike the 3DS, anyone would say this in a heartbeat, even the biggest Nintendo fan. The Wii U, while it's done much better this year, in overall world lifetime sales, you can tell that is not the number that Nintendo wanted for their successor to the Wii.
No.
You can tell they are embarrassed. They're saddened to see that this console has not done that well. It's done very poorly, which is a sad thing because it's a good console. That said, this is something that I'm liking that Nintendo's doing. Like I said earlier, they're looking at the sales in the Nintendo Wii U and they're saying, okay, we royally screwed up. It'd be better just to move the projects we are making now for this console to the successor and just give this console a last big hurrah.
But the funny thing I actually find is the whiners who are saying, "Oh, Nintendo's just pulling the same crap as Sega's doing with them getting out of the hardware business." It's like, no, there's a fine difference between that. Sega did not take responsibility for their actions. Nintendo actually is.
Actually, let me refer that even further, since I am a big Sega fan. First off, there was a power struggle between Sega of Japan and Sega of America. Guess which side was the irresponsible side? If you said Sega Japan, good for you. You are correct. Second off, you know what the thing that really killed the hardware side of Sega? It was not the Dreamcast, and it wasn't even the Sega CD, nor the Saturn. It was a little peripheral by the name of the 32X.
The ugly tumor that sat on top of the Sega Genesis.
Tumor is the perfect apt description for that little thing.
Yes.
That's what it looked like.
But see, this is why I'm saying that this is not Sega. And also, if I might add, just for the last thing, people say that Sega died with the Dreamcast. No. They went out in a bang. They went in a blaze of glory with the Dreamcast, unlike a company that went under worse by the name of Atari.
Yeah, Atari went out with a poof.
Yeah, we all remember the Jaguar, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because we were just saying some nice things about it too.
Well, it has a couple of decent games, but immediately people realized this thing was a piece of junk, and then we found out it didn't work. And then you want to talk about add-on peripherals? It looked like a tumor. By the way, it's not the tumor. How about the Jaguar CD?
Yep, that could hardly work jack squat.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm surprised Spoony even got his working for his review of the Highlander game.
Yeah.
That was a miracle beyond miracles.
Yeah.
And then, we talk about the 32X looking like a tumor while the Jaguar CD made it look like a toilet.
Yeah. But that's why I wanted to bring up saying that people are saying that, oh, Nintendo's pulling a Sega. No, they're not.
No.
They're being something that Sega sadly wasn't at the time because of that power struggle, was being a responsible company, a smart business. Because I feel like people tend to forget as gamers that this is a business. It's not a luxury.
Yeah. Also, we should add in the fact that unlike Sega, Nintendo already has enough capital backed up that they can afford to do shit like this and not kill themselves over it.
And that's the reason why I think they're making a successor to the Wii U, because imagine if they let this keep on going like how long they did the Wii. That would hurt their income and revenue even more.
Yeah, if they continue to bank off the Wii and the DS branding of games.
Yeah, because I can tell you one thing. If the NX even uses the Wii branding, I'm not even picking it up. And that's horrible to say, but you know what? They need to have a new catch. They need to have a new marketing. This needs to be a brand new era for Nintendo in regards to a home console maker.
Not only that, but they need to leverage on a lot of the struggles that they've been having, like third parties, for instance.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't get me started on the conspiracy of why third parties won't make software. It's simple. It's logistics.
Yeah. I guarantee you, if Nintendo was able to finally get third parties to back them up, I guarantee you, no force on Earth would stop them.
Yeah.
They would win. They would beat out Sony and Microsoft every time if they got the third party backing, because that's the only thing that's stopping them. That's the only thing holding them back.
Yeah. And if this is what they're doing with going to third parties to ask them what they want in the next gen system, then I'd say that's a good first step.
And it is because if they release a console, because we don't know, because they did say that details are going to be coming out more next year. Because I can tell you one thing.
You asshole.
Honey, we're recording.
We're going to have details of this thing teasing, kind of like how they did back in 2004 E3 with Wii, which was then known as the Revolution. We're going to have something similar like that, I can guarantee you that. However, the question is, for the 2016 detail, the full reveal, is that the year that's going to be released, or is it going to be in 2017?
That will make the difference, because honestly, I think the Wii U is already reaching, actually the Wii U's probably still got a couple years left on it. We still have that Star Fox game coming, and we still have that Zelda game coming. They still could pull out a couple of years on this stuff. So I would say release in 2017. That would make it a little more reasonable for the time frame.
Yes. And that actually kind of fits within their time frame with how they release hardware too, especially their home consoles.
No, that, but I would say to play devil's advocate, if they did next year, here's the thing. Those two games they're making, because I can tell you one thing, if this is going to have the same architecture that both the PS4 and the Xbone have, which is an x86 architecture, there's not going to be any native backwards compatibility with Wii U software. So what I'm suggesting is do some cross-gen titles. Like, for example, the Star Fox game, and especially the Legend of Zelda title, like they did with Twilight Princess, do the same thing with both the Wii U version and whatever the NXs end up going to be.
Yes. Or if they decide to bring a new Metroid, do the same thing.
Oh, that needs to be a launch title for the NX.
Yes. There you go. That's how you sell it. Start it with a Metroid title and do it right this time.
Not only that, but if you look at the history of the sales for Metroid, granted they do better here, but they always do poorly because they always release a title at the end of that console's life. That console's life.
But then again, Metroid Prime came out still within the first year of the Wii U's. I mean, not the Wii U, but GameCube's life cycle. So.
Oh, true, but that was the exception because with the other games, say like Zero Mission with Fusion, that Fusion came out the same day as what you just said with Metroid Prime. But I mean, look at Zero Mission, which was a remake of the first game. Look at Metroid 2: Return of Samus.
Yeah.
Super Metroid. Granted, Super Metroid did amazing sales numbers, but that came out near the end of the Super NES's life cycle too.
Yeah, and not to mention it released very closely to Donkey Kong Country, which was actually more revolutionary with its visuals.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if Super Metroid had come out after Donkey Kong Country, it probably would have suffered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably would.
Yeah.
And not only that, but with this successor, they need to have an even more diverse lineup.
Oh yeah.
Like, because that's the thing. That's the one thing I can give Nintendo credit with their first party lineup for the Wii U. Even at launch, they tried to make diverse titles. The problem is, it wasn't for first party. They were relying too much on third party to do that. That's the thing that Nintendo needs to do with the NX. It needs to be both third and first party to have diverse titles at launch.
Yes.
And here's the thing too, I like to see Nintendo do as well. Remember back near the end of the Dreamcast's life, that there was a company called Visual Concepts that made the 2K series for Sega. It'd be smart if Nintendo can't get EA back. Why don't they bring back Nintendo Sports?
Oh yes.
I mean, make their own NFL game, make their own FIFA game, MLB, NHL.
They can't do their own NFL game because EA's got the exclusive on that one, but the rest of it's open game.
But see, that's what I'm getting at. They need to broaden like they were back in the N64. Like, they should take inspiration from the past.
You want to bank on nostalgia as much as they do? Well, then do it.
And no, that both their marketing too. Look at, I'm not saying go all the way back to the marking that was the N64 era. Oh, hell no. No. But take inspiration of why it worked, and then look at how you screwed up. Not with the Wii, because that marketing did work because it got the message around.
Yes.
What they're trying to do. I'm talking about the Wii U era.
It was like they didn't even try.
Well, they did it because majority of it. Granted, I get that their main demographic is for kids, but it's really all ages. Not having your stuff on other channels does hurt your credit. It hurts your brand. You know, that's why this is why I'm getting back to that. I don't feel like Nintendo even recognizes their own legacy of their brand. And it's sad, but these are the things I want to see Nintendo, and I'm hoping that they are doing that. Nintendo's gonna do for this successor.
You know, actually, what Nintendo's doing now is kind of gives me a parallel to another humongous company who is almost strictly targeting a younger demographic and not realizing the power they have. Of all companies, you're not gonna believe this, the WWE.
No, you know what? It's hilarious because it's ironic. It's true.
Yeah, definitely.
What Nintendo is doing is very much like what the WWE is doing nowadays. They're targeting a mostly younger audience, kind of almost for neglecting and not outright forgetting their older audience. I mean, I'm not saying that you need to go back to a more hardcore lifestyle and do everything where it's all, for the teens and make it all grim and gritty and all that. Hell no. But you've got to be willing to accept the fact that you have a larger demographic than that, and you have to appeal to
everybody.
A more broad. Yeah, although then again, that's also the problem. You also have to be careful not to do that too much either. You have to be catered to a specific demographic because you can't cater everybody.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
I guess that's
some of your
true.
ads can target the younger demographic. Some of your ads can target the older demographic. Spread it out a little bit. And
I feel like they're trying to because, I mean, with Beta 2, when that game came out, they did do adverts, and I did see one of all places, Adult Swim, when that game came out.
And
makes sense.
And they actually did one bit for Playboy.
But that's what I'm saying.
A Nintendo ad on Playboy? God, stop the presses.
Oh no. Yeah, it was an ad, and that's what's shocking. But they need to do something like that once more when Devil's Third comes out later this year. But do more. Instead of having it on one channel, they need to have on various channels that cater to that demographic. Like, I may not like this channel, but it wouldn't hurt to have it on Spike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Wouldn't hurt to have it on AMC like what you did with the new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah, or have it on... I know it's called Sci-Fi, but I call it Siffy.
Siffy. Can we just be honest? If it's called Siffy, can we just be honest and call that channel Syphilis?
I've actually heard rumors that they're actually going to finally change that back now.
Oh, good.
Good.
I hope that's true. But
please.
But what are your guys' opinions? Because I've been talking more about this.
Well, I mean, it's too early to speculate, but I really hope that these are the directions that they're taking right now when it comes to their new dedicated gaming platform. And honestly, they really do need to bring out something brand new in terms of their home console space, because that's one of the areas where they're actually lacking hard, that they need to catch up with the portable side with how well it's been doing. The console side of things, they're getting stomped by both Sony and Microsoft right now. They need to take inspiration from them and, try to get them back into that footing with what made both their portable and their home console fronts actually very appealing, like back during the NES, SNES days, and the Game Boy.
And it's funny you bring that up, because I do honestly think that it is. And again, this is all speculative, but I do think it is a home console because of what I just brought up with the Time interview, that that roundtable that consisted of Iwata, Reggie, and Miyamoto. When Iwata himself stated that he's not happy that it's not the first choice of console for these newcomers, or even their general audience, but he's happy that it's a second choice console. I can understand he's being humble by there, but you can tell deep down inside that his soul is crushed by saying that.
Yeah. No, but he's basically, he's being humble, but you could see step down, he's pissed.
Oh, of course.
And here's the thing, he's not pissed at the developers, he's not pissed at the publishers.
He's pissed at the
mad
marketing.
At himself.
He's pissed at himself and the marketing.
Exactly. He's pissed at himself. And I can tell you the others, like Reggie, and I'm not a huge fan of Reggie, but him himself, he's embarrassed. And I can tell you the great Miyamoto himself, one of the best, most beloved developers, influential developers too, is saying he must be thinking to himself, oh God, how did we screw up? You know what I mean? But that's the thing. This is why I'm hoping that Nintendo can return to which they were before the Wii era. And hell, even before the GameCube era. I hope they rise like the Phoenix this generation. They need to.
That they do. Because I want to see a point where all three sides are equally competitive.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing that Nintendo needs to do. I think they will too. I feel like they are going to be competitive once more. And not be this... Not have this attitude of, oh, we do care, but we really don't. You know what I mean?
Just the type that chills in the background is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like what Hudson did with the TurboGrafx-16/PC engine, pretty much.
Because I feel like that's what hurt them with not only the Wii, but especially this console that we've been having for the last 2 years, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Third year coming in November.
Yeah.
Even though I am looking forward to, the newer games that are coming out for the Wii U, even the ones that are mentioned this year that's coming out for next year, I still want to see you actually do a lot better for your next generation console.
It's funny, we talk about how the Wii and the Wii U especially were like failed consoles to some extent in terms of critical is, but obviously the Wii was very successful. You know what that parallels?
What?
Sony back in the late 90s and early 2000s. It's like the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. Sony just got lucky.
Oh,
if they had honestly faced real competition, they would have faltered, and the PlayStation 3 proved that to some extent. And that's what's happening with Nintendo. Nintendo got lucky with the Wii because Sony and Microsoft fucked up so bad, and Nintendo was able to reach an audience that nobody had tapped into before. But now that audience has left, and they're having to go back to their hardcore fans, to the hardcore gaming crowd, they don't know how to handle it. And now they're facing real competition, and they're suddenly like, uh-oh, what do we do?
And to be bluntly honest, I feel like it's time that Nintendo needs to... I think they need to split their fan base. Because the way I see it, with the NX, with the home console side, they need to cater to their core audience. While on the portable side, that's where they try to cater to the casuals.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Because at this point, most casual fans, they have a smartphone. They're not going to go out and buy a home console because they don't have time to sit at a home console.
Yes, exactly.
They're on the up and on the go, so they have to go rely on portables. They might be able to convince most casual fans to get a portable. So yeah, they cater the portables to the casual fans while still giving a couple of hardcore fans what they want. But then on the console side, do the exact opposite. Give a few casual games here and there, but cater to the hardcore fans because they're the ones that are going to bring that money in.
Yes. Yeah, let's just hope to God that that's the case. But like I said, it's too early to speculate on that. But hopefully they actually do take advantage of that. And honestly, I think they have been, especially when it came to the 3DS, because it seems that most games on the 3DS seem to have more of an eccentric, casual feeling most of the time. While as the home console games, they actually had more of a core feeling to them.
And that's the funny thing I want to bring up in regards to a devil's advocate type of question. God forbid if the NX turns out to be the successor to the 3DS, how badly would that hurt Nintendo?
Oh God, it would hurt them. Hurt them bad.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, they've already released the new 3DS hardware and the exclusive software coming with that, now would not be the right time to release a new handheld.
No.
Because then it would be a Sega parallel.
Yeah, yes, it would be. And the 3DS is already just doing fine as it is right now. If there's something that they need to focus on trying to make amends or trying to fix, it's their home console side.
Yeah, they're still winning the handheld wars. They have never lost the handheld wars. They don't need to worry about that.
No.
Even the Vita, as good as it's been, has not come close to beating Nintendo in the handheld wars.
They really, they should just leave their handheld side of things alone as it is. I mean, even though do it little from time to time, but focus heavily on the console side, because that's where they need to pick up momentum again.
Yeah, there's a reason why Microsoft hasn't entered the handheld wars yet, because they know they'd get their asses kicked.
Oh, cool.
But see, that's smart.
Yes, it is. They're like, okay, that's a fight we're not going to win. We're staying out of that. We're going to focus on this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, let's go ahead and wrap up by talking about, giving any final thoughts towards this, because I think we talked long enough about this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we can go ahead and deliver our own final thoughts about this new move with what's going on between Nintendo and DeNA, and then what we would like to see from them when it comes to this, very briefly, and then we will go ahead and we will wrap up the show. So, John, why don't you go ahead and deliver your final thoughts throughout this whole news that was brought up from Nintendo this past week, and then what you would like to see from them in the future in regards to this sort of thing.
Absolutely. Nintendo, it looks like they're on the right track here. They figured out that something needs to change, and they're on the right track. Now, will they be successful? It's difficult to say. It's almost impossible to tell half the time. So the future holds not a question, but it looks like they've made a calculated risk on this one, and that tends to be their best work, is when they take their chances, but never blindly. So if the new console, if the new NX turns out to be a console, that's great. If they're on, and the early signs of the DeNA adventure is looking like it's on the right track there too, I think Nintendo is going to be onto something here. But let's see what happens. Nothing is set in stone.
And all of that, but it's how long till E3 2015?
A few months.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
but we
like
probably, I mean, we'll get a first glimpse or mention of NX possibly at E3 this year, but not showcased fully. But we'll most likely see the showcase of the first rendition of it by next year.
Yep.
Yeah, you know they're going to tease it, because they always do that. They always say they're going to release it at this point, and then they always tease us with something early on.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Not really. I think we've talked their heads off onto this already, so I think we've covered all our bases.
Okay. Jeff, what about you?
Like I said throughout this episode, I'm glad that Nintendo finally did something like this, because it's not only Nintendo, but the other two, they need to start taking risks. Like, I know it doesn't sound like a risk for Nintendo, but in the situation they have been since the launch of the Wii U, it is a risk, a proper risk that they're taking with their brand. Not only making mobile games, brand new mobile games based on their already existing IPs, but more importantly, in regards to the project codenamed NX, their successor. And like I stated, if it's a new console, and I do think it is, home-wise, that is a very good move. Again, playing devil's advocate, if it's a portable, then yeah, they're screwed.
Yeah.
But that aside, like, I do feel like we're going to hear something at E3, because like what John brought up, everyone knows that even though Nintendo says we're going to hear more details at next year's event, we are going to see what the... Because here's the thing, we need to know what this platform is, and more importantly, B, what the form factor is, not only the system itself, but more importantly the controller, and in some ways what they're trying to do in regards to the system, like what they're trying to cater to in regards to audience. Like, not spill the beans on every minute detail, but give us a clear picture on what exactly this platform is.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one thing they need to do. That aside, I am excited. I am not even joking. When I heard this news last week, this is the first time I've been excited for the company in a very, very, very long time. The last time I was excited for Nintendo was when we first heard of Project Dolphin.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let me go ahead and deliver my final thoughts as well. I agree with both of you. I'm really excited with this new direction that Nintendo's taking. I do see there being a lot of potential, like there has been a lot of potential with their past hardware and new directions that they've taken with their business structures. I hope that they do take more risks in lieu of what they're doing and take some of the inspirations that we talked about in hand, but make sure that they're calculated risks and not just there out of obligation, because if they did stuff that were obligatory, that's really going to hurt them big time. But, you know, if they took their time, identify what works properly, then and go with that in lieu of all what's going on here, I think this will actually be their big turnaround when it comes to not only them teaming up with DeNA, but what's coming about for their next generation hardware, the NX, which we still don't know its name, but hopefully this will actually be the breaking point to where they say, hey, it's time for us to get back into the game again. It's time for us to get caught up with where we have lost ourselves for the last 10, 15 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But Nintendo, even though you are taking new steps with this new direction, I'm still going to support you for the Wii U and the 3DS until they are completely done. But at the same time, I'm still looking forward to what all new that you have cooking in the pipeline, because that's the thing that what makes us all excited is when you start to brainstorm and bring about a new thing that will actually get lots of people excited, especially when it comes to your gaming platforms and all, and the type of games that you're bringing out to us down in the long run. So definitely continue to push through. Don't let the diehard fanboys get to you, because you really need to ignore those people and press on forward with your own beliefs. You cannot really focus yourselves towards those people, because that will show that you're the ones who are not changing when they themselves are the ones who are not changing. If you want to change, then you need to press forward.
And know what's any feelings to their fans, i.e. the core audience.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely good luck with where you're going with this, and I really look forward to seeing really good things for you in the future in lieu of this whole shebang. And hopefully we get to hear more about this possibly a little bit at E3 this year, but more so next year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see what you guys have cooking up, because I do like it how you guys like to go by the name of innovation, hence by your name Nintendo as like gift from the heavens or whatever the motto of what the name of the company means. But let's just hope that you actually do bring the big turnaround and get aggressive with trying to alleviate some of the many of the problems that you've had for quite a while, because we definitely want to see you try to get back on top again.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. But other than that, I think we pretty much covered all we had to talk about here, so I say it's about high time that we wrap up this episode. So anyway, guys, we really do hope you really enjoyed this episode, and to sign off, I am Double RPG.
I'm 16-bit Jeff.
And I'm the Shades.
Any plugs you guys want to give before we log off?
Yeah, this month of March, I've been taking a break from articles in regards to Broken Infinite. However, I will be turning full force in regards to articles come April, so look forward to that on thebrokeninfinite.com. You can follow me on Twitter at 16bitjeff. That's it.
Okay. Shades, do you have anything you want to plug on your end?
As a matter of fact, like I said, Tokurus Live coming up this Sunday on our Ustream channel. You can follow me on Twitter at TheShadesAT or Facebook.com/TheShadesJT. Also, I'm going to be posting more of our interviews from Ranger Stop on my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook for updates on that. The latest interview we just put up was with former Pink Ranger Catherine Sutherland, second Pink Ranger. And next week, for my non-patrons, if you want to subscribe to me on Patreon, my non-patrons will be getting a chance to hear from Aaron Cahill. Our buddy EC Rider sat down with Aaron Cahill, the former Pink Time Force Ranger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he had 2 dreams come true that day. Sit down and do an interview with her, and he got a hug from her.
Aww.
Yeah.
How sweet.
So you guys will see that next Wednesday night. So we got all that coming up. Plus, like I said, Tokuverse Live, Ranger Recap Live, and the return of the Rising Sun podcast, our anime podcast with myself.
Wow.
We're bringing that back. Myself, Yamayanji, and Mike Shell, taking a look at the first episodes of anime and giving you the anime news of the week. So we got a lot going on my end.
I can tell.
Oh, nice. And to plug for me as well, I'm still working on that Mega Man X4 review, but I hope to actually do a 2 cents video where I deliver my own thoughts about this whole situation with where Nintendo is going with this, so definitely be on the lookout for that, and may do a couple other 2 cents videos from there, but I do need to get back into the innovative feel of actually working on content again, since it's been about 3 months since I actually did my last review, which was the Wonderful 101 back for Christmas time. But hopefully something good will pop up to me within the start of April, specifically my Mega Man X4 review, and then I will get back on track with what I do best. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Hopefully I will get that done, but either that or I will just have to go into the motif of I'll get it done when it's done status or whatever, because I really hate to be myself in that type of situation, but you know, stuff like that happens, and you know, it may inevitably happen again, but you never know. But I do intend to get back once more with bringing out more content very soon. But be on the lookout for any of that I come up with, and hopefully I will still deliver you the best entertainment I can possibly can. But you know, that even though that's kind of lopsided, but you know, I still do. But I still enjoy what I love to do. But anyway, that's all I have to say on my end. So thank you guys for joining us on the show, and thank you all for listening. And we will definitely see you next time for another exciting and stellar episode of the Riff Table Arcade. This Double RPG signing off by saying Godspeed and Game On, gamers. And we'll see you next time. Peace!
Later.